multi-instrumentalist. I sing, I play drums, I play guitar, I play piano, ukulele, and cajon, and I just kind of picked up the bass. So yeah, I love music. I went to school. I studied music, studied jazz, and I also am a producer. So I write, record, and pretty much am completely DIY musician.
As one band, dang, that's really impressive. Like, how long did it took you to learn all those instruments, or you just picked it up from the young age?
Well, I actually started, the first instrument I learned was trumpet, and then I learned guitar next, and then learned piano when I was in college, and then just recently started picking up ukulele was a couple years ago, and then drums and bass are a little bit more new. I started playing drums like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and then bass I just picked up last year. So all of those instruments, I'm continuing to work on progressing with those instruments and getting better at them. But it's fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So definitely, we like to hear that. So, can you tell us a little bit about the latest project you're working on? I know you got a music video that was filmed a couple weeks back in the same location we are right now.
Mhm.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that project and how was the whole experience?
Yeah.
Going on? Yeah.
Yeah, Flowers and Trees. So, my latest song is Flowers and Trees. And that song I wrote it, oh, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. And it wasn't until recently, just recently, that I released it. And the story behind the entire sort of the project was very interesting because I actually started out wanting to just do an animated music video. And I had reached out to somebody in Italy to do the animation. Then, as I was working on the project with them, about halfway through working on the project, the bank account that I was using to pay for the music video, that was compromised by some kind of hacker or scammer who, ended up getting in and spending a bunch of money. And they were telling me it was going to take up to 90 days for the funds to be returned. So it kind of put me on a standstill. But I really wanted to do some kind of video. So I, thought to reach out to Espoir. I know I had worked with him in the past and I really enjoyed his work. I really respected his work. So I reached out to him on a whim, just sort of, hoping maybe that he'd be willing to work with me on the project. And to my surprise, he was interested in working with me, and I was very excited to sort of reimagine it. At the same time, I also reached out to my friend Zimra to see if she could also help with like the production and producing the video. And again, I was really, really blessed and grateful that she agreed to sort of sign on. And from there, we had a couple of other little things about 2 or 3 weeks before I was supposed to release the video or release the single. My purse was stolen, and I had to go through a lot of things to sort of figure all that and get that all together while also preparing to release this song. But somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to push through. I know we also had to, it's funny that we're here at Weber Gardens, but we would have never come to Weber Gardens if it hadn't have been for the journey that we went through looking for location. We went to all these different places looking for locations. We really wanted to do the Chicago Botanic Gardens, but we found that they were actually not very understanding of a smaller independent group, and in fact they wanted $10,000 a day, even though they knew we were a small group. So we weren't able to work with Chicago Botanic Gardens. But when that happened, I was looking around for just interesting gardens in Illinois, and I came across Weber House and Gardens. And when I saw the first picture and I saw the storybook house, I just thought, oh my gosh, this is something out of like a storybook. I mean, it's something out of like Alice in Wonderland. And looking at the pictures, I was like, this is perfect. And the thing that I loved about Weber House and Garden, as opposed to doing something at, say, Chicago Botanic Garden, is that it had so much character. It was so quirky and interesting. Whereas with the Botanic Garden, everything is beautiful, but it's so perfect and almost not human, right? It's almost, there's a disconnect. So we're super, super, super grateful. I'm very grateful that we were able to do this video here.
Definitely. So thank you very much for sharing that. I have one last question for you, and which is, can you share with us a little bit of your creative process, right? I know you're like a songwriter. I know you wrote that little song by yourself. So tell us a little bit about where that inspiration came from, right? How you got it, how you went through the process of writing it, and maybe about the post production of it too. Right?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. So in the process of writing it, the instrumental itself, the instrumental was something that I collaborated with with a producer from Italy. And he provided the instrumental track to me. And I just, at the time, it was actually the middle of winter, surprisingly. And I just remember it was a beautiful sunny day. And I could hear the birds, I could hear, the landscape outside, even though it was the middle of winter. It was one of those beautiful, bright winter sunny days. And I just kind of imagined myself in a beautiful, well, it's funny, almost like a beautiful garden, right? Just a lovely, lush forest. And I just thought about how much I love nature. I've always loved nature. I grew up in nature. So I thought, well, the thing about nature is that nature is God. And in nature, like nature tells you everything you need to know. Like abundance, right? Is in nature. There's so many trees, so many leaves on the tree, right? So much green. So many blessings, right? Life, we see the cycles of life in nature. We see things that we thought were dead come up from the dead, right? Things regrow, and the process, right? The creative process itself is within nature's process, because nature, has its own creation, and nature itself is an art. Nature is God's art. It's kind of how I see it. So for me, it was like writing this song was like really trying to almost write a love song to nature, to really show appreciation for it, because I think that a lot of people look at nature as just a backdrop. We take it for granted. But the reality is that, like I said, it's God's art. It's beautiful art. And it's a wonderful creation. So that being said, with the process, first I sort of just sketch out. A lot of times I'll just listen to the song and sing whatever comes to me. And then I'll go back in and I might change the lyrics a little bit and make it fit better. But generally speaking, the song itself and the lyrics and everything, I didn't spend too much time. There wasn't a lot of like process of redoing it. But post-production with the music itself, I had the song almost completely done and then kind of just left it for like 2 years. I let it ferment for a couple of years. And then I came back and mixed it, and then, realized, okay, I want to release the song in the spring. And it was originally going to be released in the spring. But then, of course, all the things happened with my account being compromised. So it got put off. But I was happy that I was able to release it somewhat during the summertime. And then in terms of the music video, the process was honestly so perfect. Everything was so perfect in terms of just the gardens themselves. Everything looked so lovely. Everybody was lovely to work with. I'm so grateful to have a team of people that were working on this together. And then post-production for the actual video, was pretty smooth. We had to meet a couple times. Me and Espoir needed to meet a couple times. There were some things in the first edit that I wanted to change, so I was really excited to be in the editing room with Espoir. And there was a lot of things, that I wanted in the video that I kind of had to. We had to go frame by frame, and I had to tell him, what things I wanted and when I wanted to go to certain transitions. So in a lot of ways, I would say I'm like a co-editor on the film, because I made so many creative decisions in terms of the editing. But the actual work, again, super grateful. Espoir and Hervé, you guys are so talented. So, really, really, really great experience.
So any future project though? Any dream collaboration you want to do? Any artists that you dream to work with or anything?
Musical collaborations?
Yeah. Musical.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I mean, like dream collab. Like, are we dreaming big?
Come on, you're an artist. You don't dream big. Is that what?
Okay, we're dreaming big. I would love to collaborate with Tyler the Creator or Steve Lacy.
Steve Lacy, your content creator.
Yeah.
If they're watching this, though.
I would love to work with them in some capacity. I have so much respect for them. They're one of my favorites.
Who inspired your music?
Yeah, they're like, I definitely am inspired by them. I would be also Erykah Badu would be another one. Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, any of them. Very inspired by them, inspired by their work.
All right, definitely. Thank you. And one last thing, how did you experience ESK Media? How do you like working with them? Do you have anything to say about the whole process of working with them? And, the experience you had?
So I loved working with ESK Media. I feel like they have such an attention to detail that is unprecedented. I have not worked with any videographers or any media group that has been so adamant on making sure every last detail is exactly what I'm looking for. I feel like there is very high quality footage. I love the footage. I feel like, especially as a woman of color, sometimes it's hard to find videographers that really capture people of color in a way that's very flattering. And I feel like I didn't have to worry about that at all. I felt like they were very, very tailored to my natural look and how I feel. I felt really comfortable working with them. And I'm excited to continue working with them. They are definitely going to be like my go-to team for any of my projects. And I would highly recommend them to any artist, not just artists, but really anybody who just wants high quality cinematography, high quality videography. Definitely these guys, they have your back.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. If you'd like to see the original music video, I'm going to put a link for that in the upper left-hand corner. And if you'd like to listen to my song, Flowers and Trees, it's on all streaming platforms. There's going to be a link in the description. If you enjoy this, please share, like, and subscribe. It means a lot to me as an artist when you support my music and share it with those so that I can move these messages through to as many people as possible. I appreciate you so much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world.